I have just finished a fast, and I'm not going to bullshit you, it was very hard. I'm not one of these people who goes around saying, oh, I fast and I meditate and I do Pilates and yoga and oh, I'm so special. It's just that I know that calorie restriction and fasting are hot topics for the moment, and I wanted to share my personal findings with you. I went on my first fast 20 years ago. It wasn't mainstream. There was very little information about it. I read something about fasting and I thought, well, this might be good for me. Fasting is as old as time. Every major religion has a period of fasting incorporated in its calendar. Lent, for instance, falls conveniently at the end of winter when food is scarce, when food is no longer that available and fresh. It has a cleansing element, fasting, but there's also a spiritual element. It's a time of reflection and very often a time of charity. It's only recently that we think of fasting in terms of health and longevity. Whether or not that's true, that's something else. Why do I fast? Well, that's easy, because my body tells me to. My digestive system has done overtime and it tells me it needs a break. Also mentally, I'm in overdrive and I need a bit of time out. When do you fast? Now that's a tricky one. When you have a very busy schedule ahead of you, a lot of social interaction, when you're traveling, well, that's not a good time to fast. The holidays, I wouldn't really recommend that. Holidays are there to enjoy, to be with friends and family, to eat well, to do a bit of sports, to relax. There are holiday packages in these wellness centers and spas, and then you can go for a few days or a week and you are on a special diet, a very luxurious diet, and then they give you massages and hydrotherapy and whatnot. To me, that sounds more like pampering than fasting, but hey, give it a try. The best time to fast, I think, is when you are in control of your own schedule. Let's say a week that you can work from home or that you can take a bit of time out. A long weekend always works. How to fast? Well, there are many ways of fasting. There is a very popular intermittent fasting, which is an alternate day fasting schedule. Very popular is the 5-2, so 5 days of normal eating and then 2 days of fasting, or at least of 500 calories a day, let's say, which is very, very little. And then there is the more hardcore 4-3. The risk here is that on the 5th day, for instance, you will think, well, tomorrow I'm fasting, so today I might as well binge a little bit. Then you have a time restricted feeding. This is also a schedule. Let's say that you finish dinner and then you don't eat for 16 hours and then you go back to normal eating for the next 8 hours. I've done this. This is very easy for me. It's actually a walk in the park, unless if, of course, you are addicted to breakfast, then you're going to have to reschedule. There are many other ways of fasting. There's detox fasting, there's juice fasting, there's dry fasting, and then there's the normal water fasting. That's what I do. It's clear, it's simple. You just don't eat and you drink water the first few days. You can drink a bit of coffee or tea, but you will see as time goes on that you don't really feel like any of this and you just stick to water. People ask me, aren't you hungry? Well, duh, of course I'm hungry. But not all the time. Hunger comes in waves, and you will see that you are really hungry at the time you usually eat. And that's also when you feel weak. Hunger and weakness come in waves. Worse than the hunger, however, is the boredom. Unless if you've been on a fast, you have no idea how many hours a day you spend around food. You think about food, you think of what you're going to eat, then you go and you buy it, then you prepare it, you wait for it. It's the same as waiting in line at the cafeteria. And then you eat it, and then you have to clean up. You also miss out on the time eating together, sharing, being with other people, talking and enjoying. So in fact, if you don't eat, you have a lot of time on your hands. You will also notice that when you go out, everywhere around you, people are eating. Food is everywhere. There's also the boredom of your taste buds. Now, my taste buds want to be challenged the whole time. That's probably why they're called taste buds. And they really are worse than the hunger. They tell you, eat something, give me something to work on. And then there's a question of weight loss. So people ask, do you lose weight? Yes, you do. You lose weight while you are fasting. But the moment you break your fast and you go back to your normal calorie intake, you also go back to your normal weight. You mustn't forget that breaking your fast is a fast on its own. So the experts say that you have to start by eating fruit and vegetables, but I'm more partial to ending my fast in the evening, and then I will have a small piece of toast. Then I can go to bed, I sleep really well, and the next morning I wake up without this craving. So then I can go and start eating fruit and vegetables at a normal rate without overeating. If you are thinking of fasting for permanent weight loss, well, then you're not fasting. That's called anorexia. There is something called the fasting mimicking diet, FMD. This is a diet developed by Professor Walter Longo and his team at the University of Southern California. This is actually a diet, a pre-packaged diet, which you follow for 5 consecutive days. The thing about this diet is that you eat about 800 to 1100 calories a day, so you are not in starving mode. You don't have this excruciating pain of fasting. But at the same time, you trick your body into believing that it is in fasting mode. Now, I am not going to challenge an authority like Professor Longo. What I do want to say is that when something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. And that's my take on fasting. Is it good for you? I don't know. Intuitively, I can tell you that it is good for me. After your fast, you feel really good, but that's probably because during you feel crappy as hell. And that's my story. If you have a fasting story, please use the comments box below. And as always, share, like, subscribe.